In this video, we're going to learn about how to set the style on a current page. So notice that I've got a navigation bar designed and it looks exactly the same on every one of the pages in the website. But from just looking at the navigation, I cannot tell which page I'm on. If I look down to the heading, I can. But a nice feature is to be able to identify, let the user know where they're at. And this is a responsive nav, so when it gets narrower, it drops to a vertical nav. And in both cases, it would be really nice to know where we are. So the way that we do it is a two-step process. One, in the list, we have to identify which is the current tag, right? Which one is the current A tag? So I'm going to go into the A tag and I'm going to add a class equals current. All right, and notice I didn't add it on all four, I only added on this page. This is webwise.html, and I added that current there. And you can call this whatever you want. You can call it active or whatever word makes sense to you. That means this is the current one. Now if I go back and I refresh and I go to that page, I don't see anything different there. So now I want to go into the style, and I want to talk about what happens when that's current. So when I'm in a nav and it's an A tag that has current set on it, right, has that class set to current on it, that's A.current, then what I want to do is I want to set the background color to stay the same as when it's hovered. That's what I'm going to do. You can do whatever style you want to make it look distinct, but I'm going to just set it to that color. So now when I'm on Wise, so here I am on the Wise. Oops, that didn't work quite right. Let's see what we've got going here. We've got the dark color set on the scientifically. Okay, so let's go to Wise. What did we do? We put class equals current on the scientific method. So we wanted this to be on the Wise, right? This is our Wise. So that's the one that's current. So we have to do it on the Wise HTML to be the current, okay? It's so important, right, that you get the current set on the right one. Now I refresh, and there it is. When I'm on Wise, that shows up as the current. And now when I'm not on Wise, it doesn't show up as the current. So I want to do this to every page. I've set the style already, and I've said whenever there is an A element that has class set to current, it's going to make this background. So now what I need to do is I simply need to go into each page. So I can go to the scientific method, find the navigation and say, okay, this is the scientific method page, and I'm going to put that class equals current there. And then I'm going to go into the story HTML, and I'm going to go down to the navigation. I'm going to find the story HTML, and I'm going to put the class equals current there on that page. I'm going to go to the convert HTML, and I'm going to find the link that is for that page, and I'm going to make it set the class equal to current. And now I go back to the web page, and I find out, okay, it's telling me I'm on the Wise page, and that's darker. And now I go to the scientific, and now it's the current. And I go to stories to tell, and it's the current. And conversions, and it's the current. Now notice that since I use the same background as on hover, that when I hover on this, you don't see the change, right? It's changing because I hover, but since it's the same color, you don't see it. But you see it on the other ones. This is also informative because this lets you know that even though there's a hand and it's a link, if you click on it, you're going nowhere because you're really just staying on the current page. And so that even becomes informative, that it doesn't change on hover as well. So that's how you can set a current page, set the style so it's a little bit different on the navigation when it's current. Let's check and see how it's doing on our when it's narrow, right? This is responsive, so when it's narrow, notice how it's still working, right? We left it there. It's outside of in our style. We made this apply to the style all the time. And so it works both on the vertical nav and the horizontal nav. When I go to it, the one that's current stays the same. You don't need to make it match exactly the background, but it is a good idea to make it distinct. So by looking at the navigation, the user can tell where they are.